being on the run, mate. Main thing, innit? Anyone that's ever been on the run knows what I'm going to say. Paranoia. Paranoia, man. Some people might say loneliness, but paranoia above everything else. You're paranoid of everything. Every car you see go past, every light in someone's house, every stranger you meet, every person that you know that you've met, because the old people know you know this person, and if you sleep in a house more than one night, God forbid you sleep in a house for 2 nights or something. I mean, when you're younger as well, that paranoia makes you act like a complete moron. I mean, look, you got a brain about you. You're going to go out, you're going to put your hat on, you're just going to bot around and be normal, aren't you? Keep your head down. Keep your head down a little bit. Not like chin on your chest sort of thing, like, but you keep your head down, you're out on, floating around, aren't you? You see old Bill over there, you just sort of swerve it. Like swerve it like it's nothing. Just because you've got experience, innit, you know. But when you're a kid, you act like a div. I mean, every car that comes down the road, you dive into a bush, hide under a car, run off down the street. I mean, if old Bill were driving down the street, unless they know you, you know what I mean. When you're a kid, the chances are they probably do, because you get nicked constantly in your own manner, didn't you, when you were a kid? But like, you know, you're walking down the street, old Bill driving past, minding their own business, having a chat, and all of a sudden they see out the corner of some numpty jumping in the bush. They can think, hold on a minute, swerving. You know what I mean? Other than they'll just drive past having their chat, and they see a geezer with his head down, just bopping down with his hands in his pockets. I've done that so many times, mate, in bushes. I'm sure I've been caught a couple of times doing that as well, just bringing it on top for myself. Eventually, I got to know the shape and the colour, the tint of a police headlight, so I wouldn't have to hide in the bush every time I see a car. Imagine walking down a motorway or a busy road. Oh no, chum chum chum. Could take 2 days just to get to the end of one street. You're wary of everyone, aren't you? You are wary of everyone. Everyone you meet is a potential grass. You have to be careful what you say. You have to be careful where you go. You need money. How you getting money? You know what I mean? Most of us ain't millionaires or having so you've got to go out there earning money while you're on the run, which is ridiculous, because it's more charges, more bird. Well, it ain't really more bird. It's usually concurrent, innit? Quickly explain, like, if you get nicked for 10 burglaries, yeah, they're not going to sentence you for 10 burglaries. Say you got 4 years for each burglary. They're not going to give you 40 years, yeah, for a burglary, because ultimately it is burglary. And there's a thing that's called totality. So they have to give you, like, the judge can't just go, well, you've been nicked for 10 burglaries, I'm going to give you 40 years. He has to give you sort of like a fair sentence for the crime, even if it's 10 of them. So usually, if you got nicked for 10, they'll give you 4 years. Say you got 4 years for each one. They basically start all at the same time. That's what concurrent sentence means. So basically, it means they're all going to start at the same time. So you're going to do all 10 of those 4s together. Or you could get nicked for a load of crimes. Say you got nicked for 10 crimes again, and the biggest crime you committed gets you 10 years, and all the other crimes get you 4, 3s, 2s. They'll be concurrent to the 10. They usually only charge you and sentence you, I should say, for the biggest sentence. All the other ones would be concurrent because of the totality. It has to be fair. They can't, like I said. Some people might be thinking, that is fair, 40 years for 10 burglaries, and you know, some of you generally might think that, but it does come into it, doesn't it? You can't say that's the law. That's just that's the way it is. You know, if you get nicked for a load of crimes, they usually only sentence you for the biggest crime. I went round the houses to explain that. Back to being on the run, you've got to rely on other people, haven't you? Yeah, that's always long. You start to feel like a ponce, and quickly people start to see you that way as well. If you don't move around, which makes it more bait as well, which does nothing for your self-esteem, like not ego. Makes you depressed, doesn't it? Being on the run, being away from. Because if you want to do it properly, you got to be away from everyone you know. You've got to be away from everyone you know, all your family, all your friends. And I've only ever done it. I've been on the run loads of times. Every 10 minutes I used to be on the run. But I've only ever done it properly once, where I went to a different area, didn't talk to family, friends, and just cut everyone off. And, God, mate, that's crap. Especially, like, back then I was a city boy, and I ended up in the countryside, and it just weren't a bit, saying that I live in the countryside now, you know what I mean? Look out the window, mate, all I see is fields. But back then I hated it. And it just reminded me of being on the run in like Emmerdale. You know what I mean? Emmerdale. So like literally the boys were driving about on horses, and I hated it. It was just everyone was a different breed, you know, and it yeah, that's enough about myself for a second. You can't get to know anyone. You can't make friends properly either. You can't make friends properly with anyone, because well, for that reason, isn't it? Because eventually they might learn who you are and be a snitch. I mean, you could be on the run. You could be on the Crime Watch website. You could be on the BBC Crime Watch website or saying, you know, so you can't. And even if you become friends with someone and you sort of like think, oh, he's never gonna, his phone ain't got you. He's never gonna check. There could be a day when you get pissed and you start just waffling. You know, and it's always better for you to. It never goes in your favour if you're on the run and old Bill catch you. Never goes in your favour. It goes in your favour if you hand yourself in. And the longer you're on the run, the more chance it is of you getting caught, like, and dragged to the police station. You know what I'm saying? But that's a cycle as well, because the longer you go on, the more you might not want to hand yourself in. Even though you're feeling depressed, you don't know anyone, you're sick of being on the run. The longer it's gone on, you start thinking, oof, what have I got? What's that? What's the next phase of this? Prison. And like I said, I've been prison. I've been prison before. Other people would have been prison before if they're on the run. But it's the fault, isn't it? It's the fault. Once you're there, it's nothing. Like, you know, even on the sweat, even in court, you're there. You're like, because you know you're going. Even in the police station, if you know you're going to prison, you switch straight away, don't you? It's like, I know I'm going now. Let at least, like, I just want to get there. Police station, court, fuck all that. Just get me to the end of the day so I can get to the nick and put the telly on and lay down and make a coffee. Yeah. But when you're actually still on the street, even on the run, and you're at the bottom, you've got nothing, you've got no money, you're away from everyone, you don't know anyone. It's still hard, isn't it, to just hand yourself in, like to hand yourself over and just have your freedom taken away, because then you start remembering all the shit. It's easy for me sitting now telling you funny stories about being banged up and all that, but when you're actually on the run, you start thinking of all the bad times you've ever had, and amplify them and multiply them by a million. Because look, prison shit. When you're on the street, we all know prison shit. You know what I mean? Prison is a dog's dinner of a place to be. But when you know you're going, like once you're in the police station, right, it's a different way. It's like you're making the best of a bad situation, isn't it? But on the street, man, I mean, you could be bouncing around from city to city, being on the run, but you think you're convincing yourself you'd rather do that and then hand yourself in. But it gets to the stage, doesn't it, where eventually it's just like, no, I'd rather hand myself in, and that's what I did. I was on the run for about a year, the one where I did it properly. Other didn't have a clue. I could still be there now, and they wouldn't have had a clue. I'd have probably topped myself if truth be told. I was that depressed. It just wasn't a bit of me. Yeah, man, being on the run. Sometimes it's the only thing to do, though, isn't it? You need to stay away to see what evidence is against you, or let people forget a little bit. But ultimately, it's best to just hand yourself in and get it over with. It's never going to go, is it? It's never going to go away. Yeah, you could be on the run for 10 years, man. Eventually, you're going to get nicked, and you've got to deal with it. And then you could be unprepared, innit? At least if you hand yourself in, whatever. So I'm not talking instantly hand yourself in. Like whenever it becomes right for you to hand yourself in. I got to a stage where I just needed to hand myself in. I wanted to so bad. When you get to that stage, just go there prepared, innit? Everyone knows what I mean. Bottle, plug. and it looks better for you in court. I'm only joking. Don't do none of that. But it just looks better for you in court, doesn't it? If you hand yourself in, it looks so much better for you if you're in court because it looks like you're ready to face whatever's coming to you, you know. And the judge is more inclined to maybe give you bail or whatever. Probably not because you've been on the run for a year. But yeah, if you like that, hit subscribe and we'll chat tomorrow. Adios.